This lesson, I want to introduce you to animating in After Effects. So let's bring in another image that we're going to animate on top of this one. It's going to be a stamp, and we're going to put it right here. So let's right click on the project window, go to Import, File, and bring in this PNG of the stamp, hit Import, and click and drag it over our composition and let go. We can see it's a little big, so I'm going to hit S on my keyboard with a layer selected and then scale the image down by clicking and dragging these values. Now, the image is black, and so it's a little hard to see. I want to invert the colors. So let's introduce you to the first effect. You can just type in effects up here that you want to find. It's kind of hard to find exactly the one that you want to do. It might be, you don't have this library of effects memorized in your head. So I highly recommend using the search function a lot. And I'm going to type in invert, and I can click and drag invert over the stamp. Now, I want to make sure my timeline scrubber is somewhere in the timeline that's not the beginning, because I want to keyframe the end position. So I'm going to go to the 1 second mark, which you can also change the display of that by control clicking these numbers here by going to frame numbers or seconds. So let's set a keyframe on position and scale, because I want the stamp to kind of come in and slam onto our image. So to add position to this view of our attributes, I'm going to hold down Shift before I hit P. So I'm holding down Shift, then I hit P. Now you can see it's added to this. So anywhere you find these stopwatches, that means that's an animatable attribute. That is something you can keyframe and animate. So I'm going to set a keyframe on both of these and activate their stopwatches. So now we have keyframes here. We can click and drag them around. They're not where we want them to be. And we can also adjust their. So we've saved the end position. That's where it's going to end up. So let's go to the beginning where it's going to start. So let's scale this image up beyond where we can see it, just clicking, dragging the scale. And I want to get it to a place where we can't see any part of it. The X values here on the left, the Y values here on the right for position. So I'm just adjusting those, scaling up, readjusting those. You can also just click here. And one important thing too to note is if I didn't want to accidentally select the background, I could just lock it right here. So I'm going to lock that just to make sure I'm not accidentally selecting the background. Then I'm going to scale this up to where we can't see it. And that looks pretty good. So I'm going to hit spacebar on the timeline. And we can see this little green line here means it has cached the playback, and then it can play it back in real time or pretty close to real time once it's cached it. So now we're getting this slam effect of the stamp. That's our first animation. In the next lesson, we're going to cover even more aspects of animation and organization. Thanks for watching. I'll see you there.